This is her decision to get divorced, so why should I pay her daughter that's not mine biologically? Yeah, I took care of her.
Give us 15 and we'll figure this out.
You just thrown away 7 years of being in your daughter's life.
You're throwing away 7 years.
You raised her.
So this woman wanted to divorce her husband for no reason and wanted him to keep paying child support for a girl that's not his. This is what he had to say.
It was your idea, not mine. This is your idea, not mine. Was it not your idea to get divorced?
We're not getting anywhere. Let's just take 15 minutes to cool off.
How you don't want to take care of Charlotte? So what am I supposed to tell her? So what am I supposed to tell her? You just walking out of her life completely.
Yes, I am. I'm closing this chapter in my life.
He wanted to close this chapter of his life, move on, and start all over.
You want a divorce? I'm closing the chapter on you and Charlotte. I'm not taking care of either one of you.
You never wondered why I wanted the divorce? You never asked me why I wanted the divorce.
When a woman asks for a divorce, a man never asks why. He never argues or fights for someone that doesn't want him. He just lets go and starts over elsewhere, where he is needed.
Okay, you got a divorce.
You don't think it's something that you did wrong?
I ain't do nothing wrong. That's why I'm not taking care of you and Charlotte. I ain't do nothing wrong. You just walking away because you probably got a dude. You probably got a dude or something. I don't know what's going on.
He said that she probably has someone else, and he wasn't interested in why she wanted to leave. He just wanted to move on.
If I had a dude, I wouldn't be asking you for no.
Check this out. I'm not about to take care of you. Meet somebody else. He gonna do the same thing that I was doing. Come in there and play daddy for your daughter. Play daddy like I've been playing daddy for all these years.
He said that he was taking responsibility for all these years, but now that she didn't want him, she needs to find someone else who will.
I would hate to see somebody else go through the same thing. I've been going through this. I mean, headaches.
Men know how hard this is, so they wouldn't want it for anyone else.
I'm paying child support for kids that's not even mine. I provided for her and her kids. They came and I came and lived with me. I opened my door and tried to provide for her and her kids. I did everything in our relationship.
This man was doing all he could to provide and step up as a providing dad, but he found out that the kid wasn't his, and she still wanted him to pay.
To make it work.
No, you didn't. You did everything but destroyed it. Affairs, abuse, cheating.
I highlighted, that's the name I'm paying for. That's the name.
Oh, this child, Theotis, is not yours.
It's not my son. I love him as mine, but in reality, the kid's not my son.
That's a noble quality in high-value men. Even if it's not theirs, they still love and care for them. But the facts remain the same.
Sometimes once you're married to someone, you didn't observe that she was pregnant when you were dating her?
No. Like she said, we lived together a year. Come on.
Sometimes when you're married to somebody, and then you later find out that it's not your child, it's quite common for you to say, well, that's fine, I'll accept it as my child.
I did. I was so embarrassed. I didn't even tell my mom. I didn't tell my dad, but I knew.
This man went through a lot.
I was so embarrassed. And my co-workers, I mean, they bought me wonderful gifts. I can't even go back and tell them. I just had to hold it in.
You need to go back and tell them. Wasn't none of their business.
I know, that's true.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, I just kept it into myself.
This, unfortunately, happens to a lot of men lately.
It hurt.
And you're saying that he was abusive to you, and that's what ended it.
Yes, ma'am. He was very abusive to me.
But now, if you found this used condom in 2.5 months after the marriage, or 2 months after the marriage, and if you found him hugged up with another woman,
there is no proof for that.
In the car.
I have lived on my own.
For how long?
Since '97.
For the last 2 years.
Last 2.5 years, I've lived on my own. I make $10.73 an hour. I paid $945 a month in rent.
So now she wants him to take care of it.
$100 to $160 is what I'm receiving for child support. That's not enough. I have 3 kids.
3 other children, right?
I have 3 kids total.
So you're getting support for them?
Yes, ma'am. I get support.
But you're saying with the money you're getting for the 3 other children, plus the support from him,
yes, ma'am.
plus the money you earn, not enough.
No, it's not.
And you want him to give you some more.
Yes.
There is an old saying that goes, some people are like fire. The more you feed them, the more they get hungry.
What she's making, she's making double than what I'm making. My job doesn't pay that well because it also pays for you to go to school also.
So are you going to school?
Yes, I'm going to school. I have to finish a couple of tests.
So eventually you'll make more?
Eventually I'll be making more. I'm paying child support for other kids also.
So you have other children?
Yes, I do.
How many other ones do you have?
I have 4. I have 5 kids altogether.
And now you have a child with him as well for whom you're paying support.
Okay, another thing, I'm saying in that relationship, she was the one who messing around. She was the one messing around with a member of her church.
What I never understand is that she gets paid double what he pays, and she still wants his money.
Oh, that's not right.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I did my homework. I did my homework. Here I am, busting my butt, working 2 jobs.
So in the end, she was the one cheating, not him. And he even did his homework and investigation to find out. That's why we should always hear both sides of the story. If we only heard hers alone, it wouldn't be fair.
16 hours, 16 and a half
Don't go
hours
back
a
to
day.
that. You've told me that.
Okay.
enough.
Okay, what I would do, we're in bed, sleep, I'll go to my overnight job, and I will go around the corner, and I'll park the car, come back. She's out of bed on the phone.
You played investigator.
Yes, I investigated. She's on the phone. She's on the phone. I said, well, something's not right.
Indeed, something wasn't right. Keep all your money, fellas. Live your life for you. I'd say no. Stand up and leave. No point in saying anything more.
How many children do you all have between you?
Just one.
Just one. And the child lives with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And you want the baby back?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has the baby lived with you?
So this father was divorced, and he was raising the kid alone. He was providing everything, and his ex didn't want to. She only wanted to live with her other boyfriend and left the kid to the dad. But one day, after years, she wanted the kid back just for child support.
The baby has been living the whole time.
Oh, okay. And how old is this child?
5.
5. Oh. And you expect to get child support?
Yes, ma'am.
This is unbelievable. She wants the child support even when the child has been with his father for 5 years. Child support is meant for raising the kid, so this shows she wants it for herself.
And the child has been living with him for almost, it's a boy or girl?
Boy.
His whole life?
Yes, ma'am.
She regretted this because, logically, there is no way this could work in her favor.
Well, when I get my baby back, I want child support, yeah. He makes way more money than I do. I want my baby back and I want child support.
I'm sorry, you have to excuse me because nothing you're saying is making sense right now.
Exactly. This is shocking.
You came to court to ask me to give a child back to you that was taken from you, that's 5 years old, that's pretty much lived with this man the entire time that he has been taken care of.
They took my baby away because my ex-boyfriend is an abuser and I'm not with him anymore.
But she was with her ex for 5 years, so this means she put her ex ahead of her own son. And this is my opinion, with due respect, but this isn't what a mom should do. Because a mom that loves her kids would put them first, always.
So I want my baby back.
Right, but the child hasn't been living with you. The child has been living with him.
Yeah, because of my ex, and I'm not with my ex anymore.
Yeah, so no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. He would literally have to have given you the child back. And then you come in here, after you've been having the child for some time, then you come in here and say, Judge, I want this to be changed. I've been having the child this entire time. I want him to pay child support. That would be a little bit more reasonable.
Huge respect for this awesome judge.
But what you're asking for today is very unreasonable.
Okay.
Back in the 90s, that 2 of my 3 children were not fathered by myself, even though my wife and I had been married for up to that point about 10, 11 years.
So this man found out the worst news of his life, knowing that his kids weren't his.
So it turns out that all the children were born in our marriage. Only one has actually been fathered by myself. So that was very, very, very traumatic at the time I learned that.
That news would destroy anyone, but this man was strong.
And at the time, I had decided to divorce my wife at that time. And essentially, during the course of the divorce, I petitioned the court to allow us to have DNA paternity testing done.
That was a smart move.
In order to establish that fact. And ironically, the judge in our case did not allow us to submit the children to DNA paternity testing, but I did it despite that order. And as it turned out, the 2 children that I suspected were not my biological children.
His gut feeling was correct all along.
That changed the whole tenor of things. And in fact, the judge decided he was going to hold me in contempt of court and changed his mind. But the bottom line is that started me down a different path in my life. I became a social justice advocate. And that's where all of this has come from.
This incident led this man to follow a path, a career to make the world better. When many take disaster as a reason to fall, There are men that take it as a motive to make this world a better place.
But I've learned since that I'm not by myself. I mean, there's thousands of married men, like I was at the time, who have been defrauded.
This is what we respect about selfless men. Even though he got into a problem, he sees the real issue instead of saying he's the victim. And
the interesting thing about it is, Sean, as you might think, we're the victims. The other victims in this case, far more traumatic than us, are the children themselves, of course.
That is true, and only a selfless, good person would see it from this perspective.
There's nothing to think about at that time because I had no reason to suspect that he wasn't my child when I signed the acknowledgement of paternity. And so
let me ask you a question about that acknowledgement of paternity, because and you'll have to forgive me, we abbreviate things a lot, AOP, all right?
Yeah.
Did you know at the time you signed the acknowledgement of paternity what that actually meant?
I guess I should say yes and no.
That's why we gotta be careful, brothers.
Okay. What do you mean by yes and no?
Because at the time I felt I didn't know that it could possibly hold, basically, even if you find out that you're not the father, that it would still hold you legally responsible for that child.
These men are to blame because trust is not a weakness. But unfortunately, it's bad to put it in the wrong person.
And so that's the part that I didn't know. And I think the reason why I didn't know that is because I didn't go into it thinking that what ended up happening would have happened.
All right.
Meaning when I signed it, I was 100% sure that my son was my son.
I wish this man good luck and a good recovery from this situation.
I signed the birth certificate because at the time I believed I was the father. I just wanted this to be done and over with. And so do I. I was taking just over $83 a week out of my paycheck, which was about a third of my pay. Thinking that I was the father, I didn't have a problem with it.
If it's their children, there is no issue in paying because they would gladly do it, because they love them. But not if it's the other case. This woman saw that her ex was living the life and getting better, and she wanted that for herself. See what she does.
Okay, Ms. Flask, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Okay, good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm here today because I need some more money from baby daddy, okay?
Now listen to her reasoning.
Okay.
He's been doing a lot of social media stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, let me have some more money because my baby needs it. He's older. We're doing a lot more, and
this proves that exes do indeed watch their ex.
Went to court years ago, so it's only at $100 a month.
Okay.
Months after the baby was born.
Oh, okay. It was real new.
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay. Popped out. Pop. Child support.
Okay. What kind of stuff is he posting on social media that makes you think he has more money?
Oh, he's living his best life. Okay.
How good is he living?
Oh, he's living good. He's going on trips after trips. He's flashing money.
And she can't help but to watch.
And he just recently flashed a little ring. I guess he gave one of his little chicks.
She's even watching his love life.
A little ring.
He did, he did mention that he was engaged.
This guy will explain some things that us men need to watch out for.
Can you get stuck paying child support for a child that's not yours? Yes, you absolutely can. The three most common ways this happens is first, if you're married and the wife cheats on the husband and has a baby, most states are going to, as a matter of law, presume that the husband is the father of that child.
That alone is terrifying.
Now, if husband wants to stick around and make the marriage work, and he's going to treat that child like his own, he might get stuck supporting that child long term. The next way you can get stuck supporting a child that's not yours is if you acknowledge paternity. A lot of guys, when the baby's born, will sign a form called an acknowledgement of paternity. This puts you on the hook big time.
So, brothers, always think twice before making any sort of commitment to always stay safe. Nothing is real anymore. Never get your hopes up. Get a test first.
It's always going to be a simp that's willing to deal with whatever it is that he's willing to deal with. It's going to be a dude that f***ed her. He's going to make sure that he got the best out of her. And then she's going to come back to you. And then you're going to propose to her. And then you're going to be a step baby daddy as a result of it. It's always going to be a simp. So we never ever going to be able to make the progress.
And no high value man will put himself in this situation.
But I think the real one should protest marriage based off of what it is that they see today, because it's a lose-lose situation. Never become a stepfather. No man that has no kids that is at the top of his game. Listen, you're not even going to be at the top of your earnings until you in your late 50s, early 60s. She sees the potential in your greatness. That's why she's trying to get you while you in college.
And that will only hurt you financially when it's not even your responsibility.
So no man should ever subject himself to the idea of marriage based off of the standards that we have today. Why would you become great, make all of the sacrifices, and then go and take care of another man's kids?
That makes no sense at all. It's an insult to yourself as a man. Well, guys, that was all for today. We'll be back soon.